G'day everyone, Reese here. In the world of football, some stories just grab you by the heart and refuse to let go. They're tales of passion, of defiance, of a community coming together to create something truly special. For me and for so many others, that story is Adelaide United. This isn't just a football club. It's the embodiment of the underdog spirit, a team born from the ashes that rose to defy expectations time and time again. It's a club built on the shoulders of cult heroes, fueled by unforgettable moments of both ecstasy and agony, and forever etched into the identity of South Australia. From humble beginnings to continental glory, the Reds have given us a narrative that Hollywood scriptwriters would dream of. They've shown us what it means to fight for every inch, to represent a city with pride, and to never, ever give up, no matter the odds. This is more than just a history lesson. It's a celebration of the passion, the belief, and the sheer love for the game that defines this incredible club. It's a story of how a team became a family, and how that family became a symbol for an entire state. So get comfortable, because we're about to relive the highs, the lows, and the moments that forged a legend. We'll look back at the triumphs that brought a city to its feet, and the heartbreaks that only made the bond stronger. This is the story of Adelaide United, a journey of resilience, glory, and unwavering spirit. Let's dive into the greatest moments that made the Reds a South Australian icon. To truly understand Adelaide United, you have to go back to the beginning, to a moment of crisis in 2003. The old National Soccer League, the NSL, was in its final days, and Adelaide's original representative, Adelaide City, a club with a rich and proud history, sadly pulled out. It left a gaping void in the South Australian football landscape. A major city without a team at the top level. It was unthinkable. The very fabric of the local game was threatened, and the fans, the lifeblood of the sport, were left wondering what the future held. It was a dark time, a moment of uncertainty that could have seen the game wither in the state. But in South Australia, football is more than just a game. It's a deep-seated passion. Out of this uncertainty, a new hope emerged, almost overnight. A consortium led by the visionary Basil Scarcella saw the opportunity, not just to fill a void, but to create something new, something that belonged to everyone. They moved with incredible speed, driven by a belief that Adelaide deserved a team to call its own. It wasn't about replacing what was lost, but about building a new legacy from the ground up, one that could unite the entire football community under a single banner. This wasn't a corporate franchise being parachuted in. This was a club born out of necessity and passion. They called it Adelaide United, a name that perfectly captured the mission to unify the disparate football tribes of the city. The colors, red, blue, and yellow, were chosen to represent the state itself. From the very first moment, this was positioned as the People's Club, a team for all South Australians, regardless of their old allegiances. It was a masterstroke, creating an instant connection and a sense of shared ownership that would become the club's greatest strength. The call went out, and the players came. Legends like Carl Vert answered, returning home to be part of this exciting new project. A squad was assembled in a matter of weeks, a mix of seasoned veterans and hungry young talent, all united by the chance to represent their state on the national stage. The legendary John Cosmina, a man who embodies the fighting spirit of Australian football, was appointed as the inaugural coach. He was the perfect figurehead, tough, uncompromising, and deeply passionate. He understood what this club needed to be. The stage was set for their debut in the final NSL season. No one really knew what to expect from this team thrown together at the last minute. Were they just making up the numbers, or could they be something more? The fans, starved of top-flight football, flocked to Hindmarsh Stadium, now known as Cooper Stadium, our fortress. There was a palpable energy in the air, a sense of excitement and anticipation. This wasn't just the start of a new season, it was the birth of a new identity, a new chapter for South Australian football. The 2003-04 NSL season kicked off, and all eyes were on the new kids on the block. Adelaide United took to the field not with the hesitation of a newborn club, but with the swagger and determination of a team that had a point to prove. Under Cossey's guidance, they played a brand of football that was both exciting and effective. It was built on a foundation of defensive steel, relentless work rate, and a clinical ability to punish teams on the counter-attack. They were organized, disciplined, and played with a collective spirit that was incredible to watch. The team was packed with characters who quickly became heroes. You had the experience of Aurelio Vidmar marshalling the midfield, the goal-scoring prowess of Carl Vert up front, and the raw energy of players who were desperate to make a name for themselves. Every game at Hindmarsh was an event. The fans created an atmosphere that was electric, a cauldron of noise and color that intimidated visiting teams. The Red Army, our passionate supporter group, was born in those early days, their chants and banners becoming an integral part of the matchday experience. As the season progressed, it became clear that this was no ordinary expansion team. They weren't just competitive, they were contenders. They secured big wins, ground out tough results, and climbed the ladder with a consistency that defied their hasty formation. They were turning heads across the country. Pundits who had written them off were forced to eat their words. Adelaide United was the story of the season, a testament to what can be achieved when a group of people are united by a common goal. The dream run continued all the way to the finals. Reaching the NSL preliminary final in their very first season was a monumental achievement. It was a feat that no one could have predicted. While they ultimately fell short of the grand final, losing to Perth Glory, that result did little to dampen the spirits. The message had been sent loud and clear. Adelaide United had arrived, and they were here to stay. They had captured the imagination of the city and laid a formidable foundation for the future. That inaugural season was about so much more than results on a scoreboard. It was about forging an identity. It was about proving that South Australian football belonged at the top table. The players had become household names, the club had become a source of immense pride, and Hindmarsh Stadium had been re-established as the spiritual home of the game in the state. The birth of the Reds was a success, and this incredible finals run was the first chapter in a story that was just beginning. When the A-League was launched in 2005, it heralded a new dawn for Australian football. For Adelaide United, it was a chance to build on the incredible foundation they had laid in the NSL. With John Cosmina still at the helm and a squad brimming with talent, there was a quiet confidence around the club. We weren't just happy to be part of the new competition, we were ready to dominate it. The pre-season preparations were intense, and the focus was singular, to be the best. The inaugural 2005-06 A-League season began, and Adelaide United hit the ground running. We played a style of football that was simply breathtaking at times. The team was a perfect blend of silk and steel. We had the creative genius of players like the Brazilian magician Fernando Reck, weaving his magic, the goal-scoring instincts of Chu Sheng-Ching, and the tireless work ethic of club stalwarts like Richie Alajic and Travis Dodd. It was a joy to watch, a team that could outplay you with skill or outfight you with grit. Our home, Hindmarsh Stadium, became a fortress. Teams dreaded the trip to Adelaide. The atmosphere was second to none, a sea of red that roared the team on for 90 minutes. The connection between the players and the fans, forged in that first NSL season, grew even stronger. We felt invincible at home, and the results reflected that. We were consistent, we were clinical, and we were relentless in our pursuit of the top spot. The belief within the squad and in the stands was palpable. The defining moment of that season was the race for the first ever A-League Premier's plate. It was a tight battle, a testament to the quality of the new league. But as the season wore on, our class began to tell. We were the most consistent team, the benchmark for others to follow. Securing that premiership was a historic achievement. To be crowned the best team over the course of the regular season in the A-League's debut year was a massive statement. It validated everything the club had been built on. Lifting that Premier's plate was a moment of pure joy and vindication. It wasn't just a trophy, it was proof that Adelaide United was a powerhouse of Australian football. We had gone from a club created overnight to the champions of the league in just a few short years. It cemented our place at the top table and set the standard for the years to come. The celebrations were immense, a city united in pride for their team. We were the first ever A-League Premiers, a title that can never be taken away. Winning the inaugural Premiership was a monumental high, but the job wasn't finished. The ultimate prize, the A-League Championship, was still up for grabs. As Premiers, we had earned a direct path through the finals and the right to host the semi-final. The city was buzzing with anticipation. The belief was that this was our year, our destiny, to complete the double. The finals series brought a different kind of pressure, a knockout intensity, where one moment could define an entire season. Our journey to the grand final was a testament to our resilience. We faced a tough challenge in the semi-finals, but the team's quality and experience shone through. We navigated the pressure cooker of finals football to book our place in the first ever A-League Grand Final. The opponent was to be Sydney FC, a glamour club with big names like Dwight York. It was the perfect matchup. The hard-working, community-built club from Adelaide against the flashy, big city side from Sydney. The narrative was set for an epic showdown. The grand final was held in Sydney, a tough ask for our boys, but thousands of Reds fans made the pilgrimage across the country. The sea of red in the stands was a sight to behold, a passionate army that had traveled to roar their team on. The atmosphere was electric, a fitting stage for the climax of the A-League's first season. The tension was immense, the weight of expectation on the shoulders of every player. This was the moment we had all been working towards. The game itself was a tight, cagey affair, as grand finals often are. It was a battle of tactics and wills, with both teams refusing to give an inch. Chances were few and far between, the midfield a congested war zone. The defining moment came in the second half, a stunning free kick from Sydney's Steve Corica that proved to be the difference. It was a cruel blow, a moment of individual brilliance that decided the contest. Despite our best efforts to find an equalizer, it wasn't to be. The final whistle blew, and the feeling was one of utter deflation. Losing 1-0 was heartbreaking. To come so far, to have dominated the season, and to fall at the final hurdle was a bitter pill to swallow. But as the initial disappointment faded, a sense of pride emerged. We had been there on the biggest stage in the very first year. We had proven we were one of the two best teams in the country. That grand final run, despite the result, didn't diminish our status. It cemented it. It showed we were a club built for the big moments and fueled the hunger for future success. If the A-League established us as a national force, the 2008 AFC Champions League is where Adelaide United announced itself to an entire continent. This was the pinnacle of club football in Asia, a competition against financial giants and seasoned international campaigners. As an Australian club, we were seen as outsiders, minnows in a vast ocean. No one, and I mean no one, gave us a chance of making any significant impact. The goal was simply to be competitive and represent the A-League with pride. But this Adelaide United team, under the astute management of Aurelio Vidmar, had other ideas. We embarked on a journey that defied all logic and expectation. The group stage was a war of attrition, with grueling trips to China and Vietnam. Yet we navigated it with a tactical discipline and a fighting spirit that surprised everyone. We weren't just surviving, we were thriving. Players like Travis Dodd, Sasa Ognjanovski, and a young Casio were immense, rising to the challenge of international football. The knockout stages were where the fairy tale truly began. We faced the defending champions, the Japanese powerhouse Urawa Red Diamonds. We were given no hope, but we went to Japan and fought for every ball, securing a result that set up a tense second leg at Hindmarsh. That night at home was legendary. The stadium was absolutely rocking as we knocked out the champions. The belief started to build. Maybe, just maybe, something special was happening. We then faced the Uzbek giants, Bunyodkor, a team boasting the legendary Rivaldo. Again we were written off, and again we produced a miracle. A stunning 3-0 victory at home in the first leg of the semi-final is a night that will live forever in the memory of every Reds fan. It was a tactical masterclass, a performance of pure heart and quality. We went to Uzbekistan, and despite a narrow loss, we had done enough. Adelaide United, the little club from South Australia, was in the final of the AFC Champions League. We had beaten the best Asia had to offer and were on the cusp of becoming kings of the continent. The final against another Japanese giant, Gamba Osaka, was ultimately a step too far. We were comprehensively beaten over 2 legs by a team at the peak of their powers. But the result of that final cannot overshadow the magnitude of the journey. We had made history. We became the first Australian club to reach the ACL final, a feat that put Australian club football on the map. That run earned us a place at the FIFA Club World Cup, where we would test ourselves against the champions of other continents. It was a defining era, a time when Adelaide United wasn't just the pride of South Australia, but the pride of an entire nation. Every great story has its moments of darkness, and for Adelaide United, the darkest of all came on February 18, 2007, the A-League Grand Final against our fiercest rivals, Melbourne Victory. The build-up was immense. It was more than just a game. It was a clash of cultures, a battle for bragging rights. The rivalry had been simmering for a couple of seasons, built on fiery encounters and mutual dislike. This was its explosive climax. We had a chance to avenge our loss from the previous year and claim the ultimate prize against our most hated foe. The game was in Melbourne, at what was then Telstra Dome, a cauldron of navy blue. From the very beginning, things went wrong. A controversial early red card to our captain, Ross Aloisi, changed the entire complexion of the game. Down to 10 men, with almost the entire match to play, against a rampant Victory side, the task became almost impossible. What followed was not just a loss, it was a humiliation that is seared into the memory of every Adelaide fan. The goals just kept coming. Archie Thompson, a player who would become the villain in our story, was unstoppable. He scored 1, then 2, then 3, 4, and eventually 5 goals. Every time the ball hit the back of our net, it was another dagger to the heart. The final score, 6-0, was a nightmare. It was the heaviest defeat in A-League Grand Final history, a record that still stands. It was a public humbling on the biggest stage imaginable. Walking away from that stadium was one of the lowest points in the club's history. There was anger, there was embarrassment, and there was a profound sense of injustice about the early sending off. It was a result that could have broken a lesser club, a defeat so comprehensive it could have shattered our spirit. The taunts from the Victory fans were merciless, and the journey home was a long and painful one. It was a day we all wanted to forget, but one that we never could. But from the ashes of that disaster, something powerful was forged. That 6-0 loss didn't break us, it fueled us. It transformed a budding rivalry into the most intense and bitter feud in the A-League, the original rivalry. It created a burning desire for revenge, a collective resolve that we would never ever let that happen again. Every future game against Melbourne Victory carried the scars of that day. It became a chapter in our story that, while painful, ultimately made us stronger and defined the passion and hatred that makes this rivalry so special. After a few years of rebuilding and transition, the 2010-11 season saw the arrival of a player who would become a true cult hero at Hindmarsh. Sergio van Dijk, a Dutch striker with a thunderous left foot, joined the club from Brisbane Roar. He wasn't the flashiest player, but honestly he was a pure, old-fashioned number 9. He was strong, brilliant in the air, and possessed a shot that could burst the net from anywhere within 30 yards. From the moment he pulled on the red shirt, we just knew we had a special goal scorer on our hands. That season, under coach Rini Coolen, we played an attractive, attacking style of football, and Sergio was the perfect focal point. The team was built to create chances for him, and he rarely disappointed. Whenever the ball fell to him in or around the box, you just expected the net to bulge. His partnership with the creative Marcos Flores, who would go on to win the Johnny Warren medal that season, was a thing of beauty. Flores would weave the magic, and Van Dijk would provide the brutal, clinical finish. His goals were not just numerous, they were often spectacular. He scored towering headers, poacher's finishes, and of course his trademark long-range rockets. That left foot was a weapon of mass destruction. He became a fan favorite almost instantly. The crowd would roar with anticipation every time he lined up a free kick. He was the kind of player who could change a game in an instant, a talisman who carried the hopes of the team on his shoulders. The 2010-11 season was a prolific one for him. He was in a class of his own, a consistent goal threat week in, week out. He finished the season with an incredible 16 goals, a tally that saw him comfortably claim the A-League Golden Boot. It was a thoroughly deserved individual honor, a recognition of his supreme striking talent. He was the most feared forward in the competition, and his goals fired us to a third-place finish and another finals campaign. Celebrating Sergio Van Dijk's Golden Boot was a moment of pride for the club. It showed that even during periods where we weren't winning major team trophies, we could still attract and nurture top-tier talent. His time at the club may have been relatively short, but his impact was immense. He left a legacy as one of the most lethal strikers to ever wear the red shirt, a true goal machine whose name is still sung on the terraces. He was, for that brilliant season, the undisputed king of the penalty box. While league success can sometimes be elusive, Adelaide United carved out a special reputation in another arena, the FFA Cup, now known as the Australia Cup. When the nationwide knockout competition was introduced in 2014, it provided a new opportunity for glory, a chance for teams to prove their mettle in a high-stakes do-or-die format. It was a format that seemed tailor-made for the spirit of our club, and we embraced it like no other. Our love affair with the cup began in its very first year. Under the guidance of Spanish coach Josep Gombau, we played a beautiful possession-based style of football. We navigated the tricky early rounds and found ourselves in the inaugural FFA Cup final against Perth Glory. The final was held at our fortress, Cooper Stadium, and the atmosphere was simply incredible. The fans were desperate for silverware, and the team delivered a clinical performance, winning 1-0 thanks to a goal from Sirio. Lifting that first ever FFA Cup was a magical moment, our first major trophy since the 2006 Premiership. That first taste of Cup glory only whetted the appetite for more. While we had to wait a few years for our next triumph, the reputation was building. We were knockout specialists, a team that knew how to win when everything was on the line. In 2018, under Marco Kurtz, we reached the final again, this time against Sydney FC. In a tense and thrilling match, it was our hometown hero, Craig Goodwin, who scored a sensational brace, including a world-class free kick to secure a 2-1 victory. Winning it a second time cemented our status as Cup Kings. The very next year, in 2019, we did something truly remarkable. We went back-to-back, reaching a third consecutive final and our fourth in 6 years. We faced Melbourne City in the final at Cooper Stadium, and once again, the team rose to the occasion. We were utterly dominant, winning 4-0 in a performance that showcased our knockout pedigree. Goals from Al Hassan Toure, Ben Halloran, Nikola Miliusnik, and Riley McGree sealed an unforgettable victory. The scenes of celebration were euphoric. Becoming the first club to win the FFA Cup 3 times was a historic achievement. It carved out a unique identity for us in the Australian football landscape. While other clubs chased the league, we made the Cup our own personal playground. It spoke volumes about the club's character, our ability to perform under pressure, and the incredible advantage of playing a final in front of our passionate home fans. For a decade, if you wanted to win the Cup, you knew the road to glory went through Adelaide. The 2015-16 A-League season is, without question, the most remarkable story in Adelaide United's history. It's a tale of resurrection, of belief against all odds, a true footballing miracle. Under new coach Guillermo Amor, a legend from Barcelona, the season began in disastrous fashion. After 8 rounds, we were winless and rooted to the bottom of the ladder. Pundits had written us off, fans were frustrated, and it seemed like it was going to be a long, painful season. But inside the dressing room, something was stirring. Amor, a calm and methodical coach, never lost faith in his philosophy or his players. The senior players, led by the peerless Spanish midfielder Isaias, rallied the troops. They kept believing, they kept working, and then, slowly but surely, it started to turn. A win broke the drought, and then another followed. Confidence grew, and the team embarked on an unbelievable, record-breaking, unbeaten run. We went from being the league's laughingstock to the most feared team in the competition. The football we played during that run was sublime. It was a beautiful fusion of Spanish technicality and Aussie grit. The team was full of heroes. The Spanish maestro Pablo Sanchez was scoring crucial goals. Young winger Bruce Kamau was a revelation with his blistering pace. And in midfield, Isaias was simply on another planet, conducting the orchestra with every touch. We climbed the ladder at an astonishing rate, and with one round to go, the impossible was within reach. We could win the Premier's plate. The final day of the regular season was filled with drama. We needed a win, and for other results to go our way. We did our part, and as the final whistles blew around the country, the news filtered through. We had done it. From dead last after 8 games to premiers. It was the greatest comeback in A-League history. The celebrations were emotional and cathartic, a reward for the unwavering belief of the players, the coach, and the fans who never gave up hope. But the job wasn't done. The grand final was to be held at our spiritual home, the Adelaide Oval, in front of more than 50,000 screaming fans. The city was painted red. We faced the Western Sydney Wanderers, and the team produced a performance for the ages. Goals from Bruce Kamau and a breathtaking free kick from Isaias gave us a comfortable lead. After a late Wanderers goal created a nervous finish, it was our super sub, Pablo Sanchez, who sealed the deal with a third goal. The whistle blew. We were champions. Premiers and champions, the double. It was the ultimate triumph, the pinnacle of our club's existence, a season that will be spoken about for generations. Every club dreams of having a local lad, a boy who grew up supporting the team, rise through the ranks to become its hero. For Adelaide United, that player is Craig Goodwin. A proud South Australian, his journey with the club is a story in itself. A tale of departures, triumphant returns, and moments of unforgettable glory. His connection with the fans is special because he is one of us. He understands what this club means to the city, and he plays with that passion in every single game. Goodwin's first stint with the club showed his immense potential, but it was upon his return that he truly became a legend. He possesses a left foot that can only be described as a wand. Whether it's a pinpoint cross, a sizzling shot from distance, or a perfectly placed free kick, he has the ability to produce moments of magic that win football matches. He has a flair for the dramatic, a knack for scoring crucial goals on the biggest stages, which has endeared him to the Adelaide faithful. His crowning moment came in the 2018 FFA Cup final. With the game on a knife edge against Sydney FC, Goodwin stepped up and delivered one of the most iconic performances in the club's history. He scored 2 goals, the second of which was a free kick of such astonishing quality and precision that it will be replayed for decades to come. It was a moment of individual brilliance that single-handedly won us the trophy. To do it at home in front of his people was the stuff of dreams. But Goodwin's contribution goes beyond just one game. He has consistently been one of the A-League's most dangerous and productive players, winning the Johnny Warren Medal for the league's best player in 2023. He took on the captain's armband, leading the team with pride and setting the standard for professionalism and commitment. His leadership was instrumental in guiding the team through various campaigns, always leading from the front with his actions on the pitch. His story is one of loyalty and love for his hometown club. Even when he had successful spells overseas, the pull of Adelaide was always strong. His decision to return and commit his future to the Reds speaks volumes about his character and his bond with the supporters. Craig Goodwin isn't just a great player for Adelaide United. He is part of the fabric of the club. He's the local hero who lived the dream, the captain who delivered trophies, and a true icon of South Australian football. Beyond the trophies and the unforgettable moments, a crucial part of Adelaide United's identity is its unwavering commitment to youth development. In a league where clubs often look for quick fixes with foreign imports, Adelaide has built a reputation as a factory for producing the next generation of Australian talent. This isn't just a philosophy, it's a core pillar of the club's structure. We take immense pride in giving young South Australian players a pathway to professional football. The list of players who got their start or made their name at Adelaide before going on to successful careers here and overseas is incredibly impressive. Think of a player like Awa Mubble, a refugee from South Sudan who found a home in Adelaide. He was given his professional debut by the club. His raw talent was nurtured, and he developed into an exciting winger before becoming a Socceroo and a star in Europe. His story is a powerful testament to the opportunities the club provides. Then you have players like Riley McGree. He burst onto the scene with that scorpion kick in an A-League semi-final, a goal that went viral around the world and was nominated for the FIFA Puskas Award. That moment of audacious skill was a product of the confidence instilled in young players at our club. He too went on to become a key player for the Socceroos and secure a move to England. His journey highlights the platform Adelaide provides for young players to showcase their talent on a global stage. The production line doesn't stop there. Players like Jordan Elsey, a tough, no-nonsense defender who bled for the badge for years. Ryan Kitto, a versatile and reliable local lad who has become a club stalwart. And more recently, Nestori Irankunda, a generational talent whose explosive ability has captured the imagination of the entire country and earned him a move to Bayern Munich. These are just a few examples of a long and proud tradition. This commitment to youth is what makes the club so special and ensures its long-term health. It strengthens the bond with the local community as fans get to watch their own young stars develop and shine. It's a sustainable model that creates a constant cycle of renewal and excitement. Adelaide United isn't just a team you support. It's a club that invests in the future of Australian football, forging legends not just for today but for tomorrow as well. So there you have it. A journey through the heart and soul of Adelaide United. From a club born in a moment of crisis to a continental finalist, from the depths of a grand final nightmare to the ecstasy of a miraculous double-winning season. It's a story defined by resilience, a refusal to accept defeat, and an unbreakable bond between the players on the pitch and the fans in the stands. This club was built on the passion of its people, and that passion has been rewarded with moments that will never be forgotten. We've celebrated the knockout kings, the hometown heroes, and the production line of talent that keeps the future bright. Each chapter, whether a glorious triumph or a painful lesson, has added another layer to the rich tapestry of this club's history. It's a history that proves that success isn't just measured in trophies, but in the pride you instill in your community, in the identity you forge, and in the memories you create together. Adelaide United is more than a football club. It's a symbol of South Australian spirit. The story is far from over. There will be new heroes, new challenges, and new chapters to be written, but the foundation is strong, built on the legacy of every player who has worn the red shirt with pride. From humble beginnings to unforgettable triumphs, Adelaide United's journey is proof that underdogs can become legends. Up the Reds!